Legend has it that there is a portal to Zephyr here, and legend also has it that I know how to activate it. Furthermore, as I recall, the legend mentioned something about me activating it for a small fee.
It's terrifying how accurate this clip is. I think it's safe to say that for video games, 2017's been a pretty great year. Ever since January, great titles have been coming out left and right to the point where 2018 could be considered the worst year for gaming ever and literally kill the industry. And I would not care since I'd be too focused on going through all the games that I missed out in the prior year. That being said though, the AAA industry and all their bullshit just had to swerve in near the end to remind us all that they still exist and are still more than willing to drain you financially. I could spend a while ranting about loot boxes and microtransactions being shoved in big budget titles like Shadow of War and Battlefront 2, the not good version, but honestly, what can I even say at this point, and who the hell in the AAA industry would even care anyways? It's been the same song and dance for years now. Game industry does some stupid shit that nobody likes, but eventually makes it the norm because, hey, who cares as long as it prints money? Gutting crucial parts out of a game and selling them as future DLC, releasing games in a buggy, often blatantly incomplete state with the intent of maybe fixing it later, hyping specific blockbuster titles up as the greatest thing you'll ever experience, only for them to turn out mediocre shells of what could have been, charging real-world money for in-game items for single-player only games. I could go on and on. Seeing all the current bullshit in the modern game industry that more than likely is just going to keep piling up with the next scumbag tactic makes me wonder, why the hell should I put up with this? From the perspective of both a consumer and somebody legitimately passionate about the medium of video games, corporate greed and incompetence putting the industry into the clusterfuck of a state it's currently in, I find nothing short of insulting and disrespectful. The massive glut of phenomenal titles from the current year that have done no overtly money-grubbing tactics only reaffirms my stance that there's literally no reason anybody should have to put up with these tactics at all. DLC should be supplemental to a game that on its own feels satisfying and complete, not be a necessity to get the full experience of the main game. So why should I have to pay for 50 billion expansions if I want any semblance of a plot in Destiny when I can play anything else that tells a complete story that only costs the amount that I initially paid to get the game? I kinda miss the days when the internet wasn't such an integral part of everyday life, since releasing a game in a broken, unfinished, poor state would make it a bad game for the rest of time, instead of it being considered an acceptable practice since they can release it now and fix it later with a patch. Those updates and patches, believe it or not, won't be available to download forever, so eventually games released in such a broken manner will be stuck in their initial state for the rest of time. Believe me, it's happened before. Pretty disrespectful to consumers that oftentimes they pay full price and end up having to do the very thing that should have been done beforehand in beta testing. I get that video games are expensive with the costs of development, advertising, and everything else on top of that, but if a full-price $60 game is also charging extra for day one DLC, season passes, or in-game microtransactions, I get the feeling that the company in question is in desperate need to do some serious self-evaluation and fix their shit so doing this isn't a necessity, or that they value consumers so little and see them as nothing more than individual ATMs that they can just take a quick buck out of at any time they please. Come on guys, I sincerely doubt that the sales of the next Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed will be hurt that much if you don't advertise on the back of every pack of Doritos and can of Mountain Dew. I honestly have no idea what I could even say that actually helped at this point. My interest in all these big budget titles is getting lesser and lesser with each passing year, and with the increasingly vast selection of games from independent developers and smaller studios that have much better polished, unique ideas and enthusiasm behind their production, I have to wonder why I should even have to put up with big name companies pulling the crap they do. Short answer, I shouldn't and I won't. Next time that a AAA company releases a game in a broken, unfinished state, or tries to use it as a currency leech, consider me a lost potential customer for the product in question. Feels like the only thing I could possibly do to get these shady practices to die.